Welcome to Invercargill in New Zealand's deep south, home of cycling Southland and a region rich in scenery and character. For the past 58 years, Invercargill has opened its doors to a small army of elite cycling teams who descend on the region for one of the biggest and toughest races on the New Zealand cycle racing calendar. Across 7 stages and 900 kilometres, the cyclists will face everything the roads, terrain and weather of Southland can throw at them. At the end of the week, the best will take home the titles and the jerseys money can't buy. This is the 2014 SBS Bank Tour of Southland. The run of fantastic weather continued on Stage 5 of the SBS Bank Tour of Southland. After the gruelling Coronet stage, many of the riders were hoping for a more sedate start to the 158-kilometre journey to Lumsden. Instead, shock set in for most as the peloton charged out of Invercargill at a pace so severe the race would eventually finish half an hour ahead of schedule. By Thornbury, a group of 7 riders was established. What surprised many was the composition. Within its ranks were no fewer than 4 top 10 general classification riders and 3 members of Kia Motors Ascot Park. The excited crowd in Lumsden witnessed Australian Ben Hill add a 3rd stage victory to his resume, but the real question was whether or not Michael Torkler had done enough to earn the yellow jersey. It came down to mere seconds, but it wasn't to be for Torkler. Mitchell Lovelock Fay crossed the line with 4 seconds to spare. 4 seconds that could prove crucial as the tour moves into its final day. The final day of the SBS Bank Tour of Southland is a split stage day. The riders begin with a 13-kilometre time trial in the heart of Southland at Winton. This is a great showcase for the community spirit and local support that underpins the tour. The day and the tour concludes with a hard and fast final stage through the rolling countryside of central Southland as the peloton heads home to Invercargill and the finish line at Queen's Park.
A good time trial is crucial to win this tour, and it's me versus Avanti really, and there's a couple of other guys like Torkler and stuff. I'm not sure how to recover from yesterday. They had a big day in the break when I was just sitting on, so it'll be interesting, but we're ready to fight for the win, and we'll do everything we can.
Body's a little bit tired, but that's expected after a big week. We don't race this kind of distance in Australia at the NRS level at the moment, so yeah, the kilometres are definitely, you can feel them in the legs for sure, but I'm feeling confident that I can still produce that power today and pull out a good time trial.
Yeah, we're going to hope that our boys did the damage this morning and then we sort of can just have a nice ride this afternoon.
So a 13k block for these riders here. For the top contenders, it can still make a significant difference to where they finish on the podium. The race of truth, the rider versus the clock over the 13k.
4 corners, road surface is pretty good, and it's a good time trial stage for your pure time trialists.
It's quite a wide open time trial course, and it's a raw power course. It's why Joe Cooper did such a great ride last year, and he put 40 seconds into everyone.
So here we are with the race against the clock, man versus the timekeepers here as they make their way around just over 13 kilometres, and it's the former national time trial champion Joe Cooper.
Joe Cooper's got everything to ride for today. This is his last attempt really at raising his position on the GC levels. He'll be hoping to take at least some time out of the riders in front of him, but more importantly overtake Hayden McCormick from the Breeds of Europe. All about plumbing squad. You see Joe's got the Euro helmet on, Julian, but no other time trial equipment allowed.
Now this seems to have been the way that they now set up these races here. We're evening out the playing field, if you like, by making the riders ride on the bikes that they use all week long. So as you said, Doug, just the Aero helmet on. He's on top of the hoods here, driving it down the back straight here. But this man is certainly one of the favourites to take out the stage.
Here we see Hayden McCormick coming off the start ramp. Hayden's really got everything to ride for, of course. He's actually trying to increase his time over the rider Torkler. and to try and claw back some of that time that he lost yesterday going into Lumsden, and also having a crack at trying to win the overall.
Of course, he's also being challenged by Vesey in the under-23 category there. It's down to 6 seconds, so he knows he's in an awkward sort of a position. He's holding on to that pink jersey, but also trying to challenge for the yellow, as it looks like a bit of a passing manoeuvre happening here, not often seen at this top level, and it is Vesey down on the inside with the under-23 National Road Champion McCormick going around the outside of him.
Torkler off for the Barry Stewart squad, and Mitchell Lovelock Fay from the Avanti Racing team. His moment of truth, starting ramp. Here is Michael Torkler around the top corner. He's looking good and strong. There's not a lot of wind out there today, Julian.
Yeah, let's not forget this US-based rider here is only 4 seconds adrift of the yellow jersey, so this is all important as he grinds away with the big gear, but he's turning it over quite nicely here, Doug, in a very good position.
Yeah, he's very relaxed. He's on a lot lower cadence here than Mitchell Lovelock Fay from the Avanti Racing team. Interesting to see the two different styles. This man's over the gear nicely, pushing a lot smaller gear but spinning it at a lot quicker rate.
Lovelock Fay, as he said, he's had some very good time trials over the season here, so he comes in with some pretty good confidence, but he did say to me early on in the day that there's a bit of nerves, of course with only 4 seconds, but you can see he's starting to make some big inroads to the man that's second overall. That will be lifting the confidence of the yellow jersey holder.
All about confidence in the yellow jersey, especially on the last day. You can see here Michael Torkler coming up to finish, but in the background, Mitchell Lovelock Fay, the tour leader, he's put in a huge ride here, Julian. He's really riding the race of his life today.
This is an outstanding ride. This is what it does to you when you wear the yellow jersey to try and take out an international tour. He's done enough, he hopes, to ensure that he stays in that yellow jersey and extends the lead over Torkler. Stage victor Joe Cooper moves up into second posse, only 41 seconds adrift of his teammate Lovelock Fay. But Michael Torkler now concedes 54 seconds to be 4th overall as they head into the final stage of this year's tour.
Yeah, we'll just rally this afternoon and do what we sort of done for the last few days. And when we ride together as a unit like we do, we've proven that we're a pretty strong team. So yeah, we're pretty tired, but we've still got a bit left in the tank too to get to Invercargill this afternoon.
Powerful new Octavia RS. Not your everyday family car. Skoda, simply clever.
Closer racing times here as we head into the final stage of this year's tour. Still very much open amongst the top half dozen with only a minute covering those riders.
This is going to be a really exciting stage, Julian. It is. We've often seen this in the past. It's come down to the wire. These young guys this week have really raced every stage, and this stage is going to decide a lot of things, and there's a lot of ambition out there, I'm sure.
There was a lot of talk amongst the riders before this stage, being very wary of the fact that the Tour of Southland often throws up this huge big last stage into Invercargill at high speeds, and here it is as a great example. It's the Barry Stewart Builders team on the front, and of course they've got Michael Torkler, but it's Schreuers, his teammate, who's been given the nod to be the motorbike on the front.
This is an impressive ride here from the young boy Schreuers from Barry Stewart. He's really rocking out of here. The last stage of any stage race in the world is always a prestigious one to win. Everyone wants to win the last stage of the tour, but there's so much more up for grabs in this stage, Julian.
And take note of the man in third spot on that lead group there in the white colours. We've seen him 3 times over take out a stage in this tour this year. That's Ben Hill of Australia. But the Barry Stewart Builders have got the bit between the teeth. This is an opportunity for this man Torkler to take the yellow.
Here we are back in the main peloton again, and you can see the Kia Motors squad. Ascot Park there at the front. That looks like Tom Scully trying to get across. That would be an alarm bell ringing for the bunch, but it's pretty chaotic at this stage. It's still not settled down yet, has it?
It's the former Oceania time trial champion Odlin there, PowerNet, so that's a very strong rider, Doug, to have on the front along with Scully here as they try and get themselves across. And it looks like the figure there of Aitchison, the man from Creation Science Aluminium Group Orico. Of course, led this long way up the hill the other day, but look, the familiar figure on the front, as you would expect. the Avanti Racing team.
The Avanti Racing team, you've got to hand it to them. They've been super slick, super organised. There's Mitchell Lovelock-Fay sitting there, but they're really getting punished here. They're really going to get tested in this last stage. That looks like Hayden McCormick, maybe. No, it's not Hayden. It's one of his teammates from the All About Plumbing. That Avanti team are really, really going to be tapped here, and they're going to get taken all the way to the wire, Julian.
A great shot here of these riders powering into it on their way to Invercargill under the blue skies. I think that was Thomas Hubbard coming across, trying to make his way there to challenge up the front. They know this is serious business here. We have a man here sitting in the top 4 on GC, trying to get himself to take that yellow jersey on the final day, and Schreuers is doing a massive effort on that front.
There's some commitment here, Julian. There's some really, really strong riders at the front of this group, and this group potentially has got the opportunity to take the Tour lead off the Tour leader's jersey of Mitchell Lovelock-Fay. But the Avanti Racing team we've seen are trying everything they can to keep this together. This is very, very chaotic, and at times like this it's very hard to keep everything cohesive and keep it all together.
So these 3 out in front have got just over a minute on the main field, but they've looked over their shoulders and they can see 4 contenders coming across. So they've made the decision to sit up and allow them to join with them there. Now we have a number of teams being represented. So this group of 7 riders now trying to take the stage victory here, and it's a group of 7 guys with a lot of experience, which counts for a lot on a tour.
Yeah, Thomas Hubbard from the Breeds of Europe All About Plumbing squad will be there as a gatekeeper, I'd suspect, Julian. I doubt whether he'll be rolling through, taking too many turns, and he'll be hoping to set himself up, if this group stays away, for maybe a stage win. But he probably will be copping some flack along the way as well. You can see here team management having a chat to him, probably making sure that he doesn't have any intentions to roll through, and just giving him a bit of instruction.
The time continues to open up now, and we have the virtual leader on the road, and that is Michael Torkler. And you can see Scully, he's not happy with this man sitting on the back, of course, who's defending the lead of McCormick, the man in the pink jersey. So plenty of discussions going on here as Scully's telling him it's time to either come through or disappear off the back.
Back at the peloton coming through the Spring Hills area, we're showing you here a shot of Gordon McCauley in the over 40s jersey. Gordon's equalling Brian Fowler's record in the number of starts in this year's Tour of Southland. Good on you, Gordon.
The Tour means a lot to me. It's one of the big races that we always come back for. We always train for, prepared properly, went down, and we always raced to try to win, do the best we could, and we've come away with a lot of victories. So, personally for me, it's been a very good race. We kept coming back because it was the biggest race on the New Zealand calendar at the time, and it still is. It's been going a long time. After a few victories, you sort of get a taste for it. You get a feel for the conditions and everything down there, and it sort of encourages you to keep coming back and trying to win again. The best highlight of the tour would probably be the first win I had. I think it was in '85, especially after '84. We come so close, we had the yellow jersey and punched it the last day, and sort of lost all hope of actually winning. Still ended up third, but I think the first victory is always probably your hardest, and after that it was basically a bonus for everything else. Winning gold medals, or any gold is very hard to get. So Commonwealth Games is probably a big highlight, but also winning Southland, I think that rates right up there. I think with any of the medals that I have got.
Here we are back at the front of the front group, or the back of the front group. Julian, this is Michael Torkler and Thomas Hubbard, Breeds Europe, All About Plumbing, and it appears Thomas Hubbard's strategy of sitting on the front group has worked. This is Michael Torkler, who was shooting for the overall lead, and these two guys have now shot out the back of the front group.
So Torkler here, of course, got the biggest amount to lose here. This is a guy who potentially could put himself into the yellow jersey, but the head games being played back here as they lose contact with that front group is something quite bizarre to watch.
Yeah, I think it might be game over here for Michael Torkler from the Barry Stewart squad. He'll be disappointed. Of course, he was shooting for the win and is now looking like heading back to the peloton to lick his wounds, and we'll hopefully see him again next year, Julian.
It's been a big week's worth of racing for these guys, close on 1,000k for them here on this final day. Many of them will be very pleased to see the end of this week's racing, but it's been in pretty good conditions as they head towards Invercargill here, and it's Michael Vink that's been placed on the front, and he's looking after the man, of course, there in the pink jersey. Still has a great opportunity here to move himself up closer towards that yellow jersey.
It's probably one of the biggest tests of this stage, the Rackhook Hill climb, and you can see here Hayden McCormick really has come on in this year's race. He had a good time trial this morning, and he's obviously a seasoned lad. He's been a Junior Worlds rep. He's racing in Belgium for the Lotto squad, and this year's team that he's put together, Breeds of Europe, all about plumbing. A lot of young guys. There's a couple of guys in there who haven't got a lot of experience, and he's had a really, really good setup around him this year with that team, and it has certainly helped his cause in that pink jersey and his overall quest.
It's great to see our under-23 road national champion here giving it a bit of a crack here on this final stage here. They're not too put off by the strength of some of those other teams, in particular the Avanti Racing team, so this young man now trying to cross the gap. This is one of his last rolls of the dice here to try and get himself into that coveted yellow jersey.
He's not the kind of kid that gives up easy, is he, Julian? You can see here he's rolling along. He had his first sneak over the shoulder. It was always the big thing in the old days. You don't go until they get your back wheel. And Hayden McCormick has just strung this whole field out on his own. This is a very powerful kid.
The rest of his team now onto the front. You can see the Avanti team keeping a close eye on this team in the green. They're the ones been watching for the last 2 or 3 days, knowing full well the capabilities of the likes of McCormick and of course Vink in there as well to try and stir things along.
Yeah, we're coming a lot closer now. We're getting to the outskirts of Morris Bush, and there's a couple of wee lumps and bumps. Of course, there's a lot of the riders will be still hoping and thinking about their stage chances, although this front breakaway group that we've got away are still off away up the road. But this kind of thing here upsets the chase and upsets the rhythm. Riders rolling through like this and then stopping is not constant, and the Avanti boys will be hoping with the stage finishing with the laps around the Queen's Park that it may come together for them.
It certainly does work in the favour of the guys further back in the bunch there, waiting, the sprinters who are waiting for it there when they know that 2 or 3 teams are doing a lot of the efforts on the front there, playing their games for the overall. Whereas we go back to the front here, Schrewer's doing a fantastic job. This guy has got to be fatiguing fairly majorly here. He's had a huge day on the front for the Barry Stewart builders.
Yeah, an impressive ride by Hamish Schrewer. He was actually the guy that initiated this break. This is the roundabout coming into Herbert Street and down past Boys High, a very famous school in Southland, Julian. And Hamish Schrewer has really been the rider that's pushed this whole thing along today in aid of his teammate.
So this quartet heading down the back straight for the first time as they make their way around into the finishing straight of Gala Street. They'll have 3 laps remaining here on the traditional finish here in the tour. But these 4 here are not giving up the ghost here at the moment. They know full well that that chasing peloton is not too far off as they make their way down now into Gala Street here for a great crowd from Southland gathering around to support them.
It's a wonderful crowd support that you get at the finish of this SBS Bank Tour of Southland. You see here back at the main peloton, Breeds of Europe are at the front, Avanti Racing are at the front, and the yellow jersey's placed himself nicely. He's in about 8th position, tucked in, keeping out of trouble.
So great support here on the sides of the roads around the Gala Street, around the Queen's Park circuit, and the 4 in the front have split. But meanwhile, in the back straight there, you can see the peloton are starting to chew up the real estate on these guys here. They'll be starting to get their sprinters into the train and ready for the preparation of the final lap.
A really tough position to be in. You can see here Ben Hill from the McCallum's group. This guy's won quite a few stages. Is he going to make this his 4th? But it is no man's land in some respects because the sprinters and the teams back in the peloton can really chew up some ground coming into this finish. It'll be an interesting point to see whether Paul Odlin and Ben Hill can stay away here.
2 very strong contenders here, united as one to try and take out this final stage as the big peloton now swings around. It looks like about a field of about 40 now chasing them down from the 96 starters this afternoon out of Winton, and you can still see that gap from the 2 behind. They're trying to shut it down, trying to get themselves back up to contention, but Doug, the time is soon shutting down here on these 2 out in front.
It's a very, very quick surface around Queen's Park too. The road surface is great. These 2 guys here are really giving it everything. This is the last roll of the dice for them. You can see the two chasing up behind. That is Hamish Schrewers and Liam Aitchison. They're trying to make contact as well. It's going to be touch and go as to whether these guys stay away. But Paul Lodlin, he's a time trial champion. Ben Hill, he's shown us what kind of class he's got. These guys are just burying everything they can. You can see there's a bit of looking around going on. That's often the way you see it at these stages, but it looks to me, Julian, the peloton's going to swallow them up.
Yeah, unfortunately for these four, they're going to leave nothing out on the road here, but they're about to be chewed up by the chasing peloton. You can see the yellow jersey towards the front as again another one of the Barry Stewart Builders boys goes off.
And it's Hamish Schrewers. This is an incredible ride really from Hamish. This guy has really attacked this stage. He wants to win it. He's been in the breakaway pretty much from the get-go, initiated it himself. Here he is trying to break away again down Kelvin Street. Man, this kid is really committing everything to this breakaway, and that is an incredible ride.
The former Junior Worlds medalist here, he's got to be in contention for the Southland Times most combative of the day as he leads them around into Gala Street again. Not much of a gap, but an impressive ride by the man in yellow to make sure he puts himself right on the front of the race, just to allow everyone else to know this is why he is the leader of this year's tour.
And here we can see the sprinters starting to line up. It looks like Brad Evans from the PowerNet team coming through on the inside. Brad Evans is going to sneak away here, Julian. This is an incredible stage finish, and I think it's Brad Evans takes it on the line from the PowerNet team. An incredible stage finish into Gala Street in this year's 2014 SBS Bank Tour of Southland.
I got second last year on a stage to Tiana, so it's great to back it up this year with the stage win, especially in this last stage into Invercargill. It's always a nice fast one, so yeah, very happy.
The objectives today was getting that breakaway and try and get to the finish line. Unfortunately we had a few guys pretending to be trailers out there, and that's not much fun, so the four of us then cracked on at the end, and I'm not sure if the break even got it there, but we gave it a nudge anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard getting caught at 100 metres on the line, but you've got to give it a nudge, and we gave it a nudge, but not quite there.
The only third international to ever win this Tour of Southland, Mitchell Lovelock Fay, wins it by 41 seconds from his teammate Joe Cooper, with McCormick holding on to third at 43 seconds. Local man Matthew Zenovich took out the Harcourt sprint ace with 70 points from Jacob Grieve on 59 and Hambrook on 49. The Jesco Hydraulics King of the Mountains went to the Englishman Thomas Stewart from Ben Hill and McPherson. The Henderson Construction Under 23 went to Hayden McCormick, 1 minute 13 ahead of Tom Vesey and Nick Bain, while Gordon McCauley took on the Stonewood Homes jersey for the over 40s, over 5 minutes ahead of Justin Stott and Mark Spessett. Avanti Racing Team proved to be the strongest team of this year's tour, winning by over 9 minutes from PowerNet Limited and H&J Smith Outdoor.
It's a nice jersey to win, but would have preferred the yellow. But I'm proud of everyone how they rode, and we gave it a crack. And at the end of the day, you can only do your best. So yeah, happy to have me.
Yeah, I didn't think it'd be this close. I was hoping that I could pull out a bit more time on Coronet, but it's just the way it goes, and yeah, I'm just lucky that I have such strong teammates. We had a bit of a scare today, but yeah, we were able to pull it off, and I was able to get the win for Avanti, so yeah, it's amazing.
Follow the 2014 SBS Bank Tour of Southland all week with full results, live updates, photo galleries and video coverage every day at tourofsouthland.com.